And happy start 2021 now, New Year. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Deborah Eckerling. I'm the author of Your Goal Guide and founder of the Deb Method. And my mission is to help as many people as humanly possible figure out what they want and how to get it. And what is the best way to do that? Well, figure out what you want so you can make a plan to get it. And this has been, without a doubt, an interesting, crazy, sometimes good, sometimes terrible year. But why not start 2021 now, get a jump on the next year, and have lots of success? So when I was planning this party, this virtual New Year's, I'm like thinking, okay, so how do I have a party online? Well, invite friends. So that's exactly what I did. So I'm going to start bringing people in, and this is going to probably be a party unlike your normal, which is totally fine as well. And the whole idea is to get everybody excited and motivated. Let's reflect on our wins from last year and talk about our goals for the coming year. And it's going to be so cool. So I'm going to let it in. This was kind of, and I was trying to pick like cool people from different facets of my life, and then there'd probably be like 20. So as I am me, I like batch things out. And so I've got, I'm going to introduce people and then let themselves introduce themselves more. And I don't know who's got a car driving by, but can you mute? Thank you. Anyway, so let's start with Aadip,
All right.
who I have known you for years and years and years.
I think 11.
It might be longer.
It might be.
But and Aadip is an awesome screenwriter and up and coming. And we were talking before we went live because you said I made you think about your challenges and wins for the year. So you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
But why don't you, introduce yourself, and since it's a party, also share what go-to food you would bring if this were an actual party.
Oh, that's tough. Okay. I'm Aadip Desai. I'm a television writer, and I run the LA TV Writers Facebook group, which is 16,000 people now. It's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I wrote on the Goldbergs last year, and I'm writing a freelance episode for Mira Royal Detective, which is like an Indian culture-based animated series for Disney Junior about a young court, like a palace detective who's a little girl, and she's trying to figure out like, who stole what or what went missing and where to go. So it's very cute. Yeah, and then I'm just working on my own stuff in the meantime and raising my kids and doing Zoom school.
Woohoo!
Yeah. Okay. And I don't know what I would. No one asks me to bring food because I'm a terrible cook. So I usually bring napkins or soda or like booze. But if I were able to bring food, I would probably bring like green bean casserole because I can make that. And it's like, we're in that season, so I can get them. And
and do you want to share why everybody thinks you're a terrible cook? I like you right into this question.
It's a setup, man. Yeah, I was also on a television show called Worst Cooks in America like a million years ago. And so I'm sort of worldwide famous for being a shitty cook. And so people just walk up to me and yell names of dishes that I destroyed on the show and just walk by. So yeah, that's my claim to fame, I guess, that I am a terrible, one of the worst cooks ever.
But you're an awesome screenwriter. So, if you had a choice of being a great cook and a terrible screenwriter, or a great screenwriter and a terrible cook, which would it be?
I'm fine being a decent screenwriter. I'm good with that. I can chop really well. Like I actually did learn skills on the show, so I'm not like terrible anymore, but people still aren't going to take a big chance on me bringing actual food to a thing. So
excellent. Well, welcome and thank you. And I'm going to flip you around and we can say hi to Keith. And Keith is awesome. Well, you're all awesome or else you wouldn't be here, right? And Keith and I became friends because we go to this amazing Jeff Pulver meetup every Tuesday night. And I got to give you snaps for cheerleading the whole Start 2021 Now campaign. And I'm also going to share the link to this beautiful article you wrote encouraging the world to listen to me and do things. So why don't you introduce yourself better than that?
Sure. I'm Keith Spiro. You listed me as a photographer at one point. I wear many hats: sales, marketing, photography, roll them all together, and popped out of a corporate job and ended up being a business strategist, community builder. I've known Jeff Pulver for more than a decade. I've presented at a couple of the 140 conferences, so I've always considered myself one of his characters. And your name has crossed those same lines over the years, so it was really fun to get into Today is Tomorrow, find you there, and have you launch or talk about launching starting 2021 immediately. And I thought, wow, this is the perfect transition, and jumped on it. And so it's been a lot of fun helping support it, getting it out there, and running my own little segments of it.
Excellent. And so if we were having a party, what food would you bring?
Oh, easy. It's nachos, tortilla chips, and a 3-layer Mexican spiced dip.
Okay, cool. Okay, I like it. I'm going to be so hungry by the time this is over. Bridgitte, welcome.
Hi.
So nice to see you.
This is something new.
Well, I am incredibly excited because when I decided I'm just going to bring friends, knowing this venture that you decided to start during COVID, I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So why don't you introduce yourself way better than me? Go.
Okay, well, my name is Bridget Jackson-Buckley, and I am a writer and author, and Deborah and I were published by the same publisher, Mango Publishing Group. And we are also members of the Women's National Book Association Los Angeles chapter. So this isn't our first rodeo. We've done interviews before. And in addition to writing, I am in the process of starting a bookstore that sells books only authored by women. And while it's not a traditional feminist bookstore, it's a book to honor the wonderful women authors that I have interviewed and met over the years, and women authors that I met once my book was published, and to just celebrate the contributions of women to the literary world, and also to just honor my love of books. I've had the longest love affair with books. And so I have finally decided to move forward with that and open a bookstore. But seeing that we're in the midst of a pandemic, the physical location won't open until the summer of next year. So right now I have a store on bookshop.org, Little Visionaires, and I'm also in the process of creating a website where books can be ordered, and I will ship those books out to buyers. And Deborah has graciously donated 2 copies of her book, Your Goal Guide, for our pop-up location that we're also establishing, where people can make individual appointments to come in and browse the book selections and purchase books. So I am so excited about this.
Well, I am thrilled for you and so happy to have you here. And you mentioned Women's National Book Association, LA chapter, and tomorrow I am doing a mixer and goal setting workshop. So I put that link in the chat as well. And I'm gonna swap you for Dorian, so she can. Oh wait, no, we don't know what you're bringing to the potluck.
Oh, that's right. Okay, you know what I would bring? I'm not the cook as well. Cookbooks have saved me during this shelter in place because the kids are home. So I'm having to cook so much more. And oh, thank goodness for cookbooks. But last week for Thanksgiving, for the first time, I made raspberry cupcakes with a cream cheese frosting, and they were a hit, surprisingly. So I will probably bring those.
Okay, well, if you ever need more books, we can easily swap for cupcakes. I see some really good, more and more good symmetry. And speaking of more, we have, do you see what I did that, Dorian?
I do.
Nice
I
segue.
hear it.
Media.
That's awesome.
So welcome. And you recently had me talk to your community. And I'm like, oh, good, an opportunity to introduce you to mine. So to go ahead, introduce yourself, and don't forget that food.
Okay,
Food's very
so
important.
sure. So my name is Dorian Morin Van Dam. I live in Vermont. Really safe place to be right now. I'm originally from the Netherlands. That's why I wear my orange proudly on my face. I'm a social media consultant, also community manager, and I manage a community of social media managers on Facebook that's nearly at 50K, which is awesome. And besides that, I manage big accounts, small accounts of brands, nationally, local entrepreneurs, coaches. I help them with social media strategy and implementation if they need it.
Excellent. And then the food question.
All right. So I had some time to think, guys. So I actually am, I love baking. I have 4 kids, and, they've been over the years the best taste testers of things. But about 4 years ago, I became vegan, about almost 5 years ago. And it's been a new adventure, as I've been a mom for 24 years, loved cooking, always friends come over. So I think what I would make is a huge batch of vegan mac and cheese, which doesn't actually have any cheese in it, but it tastes like cheese. So based on butternut squash, is amazing. Even the non-vegans love it. And I probably bring that huge volume of it. So.
Okay, so if it's not cheese, what is it?
It's a mixture of vegetables like butternut squash and onions, and soy sauce and some other secret ingredients. And then to make it cheesy, you use nutritional yeast. So that gives it the cheesy taste. And it's really yummy. You top it with very unhealthy but delicious fried onions. And that gives it a crunch.
Balance, definitely. Yeah. Okay, wait. So, Aadip, aren't you a vegetarian?
I'm vegetarian. My wife's vegan, so I'm like well versed in the world of yeast. And first time you're like, "What am I? I'm eating yeast? Aren't you not supposed to really eat raw yeast?" Like, but it's good. Like it gives you the umami flavor.
Yeah.
And so that's like the cheat. Same with the soy sauce. So yeah, my wife's a incredible cook and baker. So, but it took a long time to get the baking down. Vegan baking is like a whole other. It's like rocket science.
It's a different thing. You have yeah.
Like, oh, you can't use the flour. Well, what are you going to use? All these other weird things that you can only get at a couple places. Thankfully now, like you can get everything everywhere, which is good.
Well, in this nutritional yeast thing, because at the beginning of the pandemic, I could not find yeast or flour. So I was like eking it out, but it still comes out when I Google when I go online shop for yeast. Now I know what they use it for. So see, I've already learned something very, very important today. So it's still a party. So I'm going to ask you about your wins and your challenges and your goals in a second. But what is the other thing people do at parties? Don't they like share their like hidden talents? I know you all have either something, and now I don't expect you to sing unless you can sing really, really well. I mean, I guess you could sing, but when you're at a party and you want to like say, hey, this is the cool thing that people don't know, this is my hidden talent. What is that thing? Okay, and I will start. I'm going to let you, and it's not even a hidden talent. The thing that people normally don't know about me is that I had a quiet phase. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute.
What?
I had a quiet phase. I know.
What does that mean, Deborah?
That means you didn't really talk, or you were shy,
or you were...
Yeah, I had a shy phase as a kid. I know it was before mute buttons. Thank you for making me feel old. Well, actually, no, we probably had those for a while. But the point is, I did go through a quiet phase. It's been over for a very long time, but it always surprises people. The other thing that surprises people when I tell them is that I worked in corporate for many years, because they say, "Deb, you are the opposite of corporate," and I say, Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Because even now these days, corporate isn't corporate anymore. Corporate is this. So I guess I would fit in now. Okay, enough time to think. I think I'm going to pick on Dorian.
A hidden talent. So you're not looking for like something that makes a really good conversation at a party, but you're looking for a talent, right?
Either or. I'm all about those open-ended questions.
All
so
right.
If I
so
just met
something that
you,
people don't.
what would you say?
Yeah. Okay, I would tell you something that would make you understand who I am. I think. My husband and I met, and 7 months later, we got married at a bus stop. We've been married 31 years. That's the kind of decisions I make. So we were very young, and we didn't have any money, and it wasn't about the big wedding or anything. We just got married and worked really hard and made that work. And that's kind of how I work in my business. No fancy stuff. Just you get what you see, and it works really well. So usually that's a good conversation piece. We had about 40 people at the bus stop and a bunch of people coming off the bus that we didn't know that joined the party, which is really fun. And
I like Bridget's face.
Yeah.
He's like,
that is so different. Wow.
And the funniest part is that we have 4 children. 3 of them are now older than we were when we got married. And we told them, do not do what we do.
There's a different time.
That's a different time.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a good conversation. It's a good, I'm still waiting for the day that we may be renewing our vows somewhere that doesn't include a background of graffiti. But, other than that, it's been a great, it's a great start. It was a great start to our relationship. Neither of us was legal to drink, which is another funny part to add to that. But, sometimes things work, and we've done some crazy stuff in our marriage like that. We moved to Brazil with the kids for 4 months, took the kids to Europe for a couple of months to visit my family, moved to Vermont last year from South Carolina out of the blue.
Wow, that's different.
So, so we've sometimes we do those things, and it works. So that's how you get to know me.
Wow. So it's really you saying that I love the altering of this question because it's perfect. And I don't think I knew that about you, which makes it extra cool for me. This is why I love having these conversations where people get to listen in. That's amazing. Okay, Bridgitte, you're up.
I've got to ask right now, though. Are you a Gamecock or from Clemson to the South Carolina, Dorian? We've got the 2 big schools there, Clemson and University of South Carolina. I have a vested interest in the Gamecocks.
No, I lived in Myrtle Beach for 20 years, and actually 2 of our children went to College of Charleston, which they don't really have football. So I have living in South Carolina, wearing my orange glasses, people assumed I was a Clemson fan because it's Clemson against, and I like, nope. No, I'm Dutch. That's what it is. But very, very familiar with the Gamecocks and the Tigers.
I love that you asked a question and the answer was neither.
Isn't that usually how it goes?
Sometimes, or I like, is the question this or this? Yes. Are you starting the new year in December or January? Yes.
Yes.
See what I did there? Okay. Bridgitte, what do people, other than you had this lifelong dream to start a bookstore, and I have to say hi to our friend Jen Ballard, who wish you well. So thank you for joining and listening in. And Jen is actually my Goal Chat Live guest on Monday, and we're going to talk about how to enjoy the virtual holiday season. I just am getting a little head start here. So, Bridget.
Gosh, how do you follow Dorian? The world traveler with kids. Okay, so are we doing talents or a little detail or both?
Whatever you want, because I like the open-ended, take it, and I did not expect that answer. So whatever works for you, what's gonna help us know you a little better.
Okay, well, just in the vein of traveling, like I did most of my traveling prior to having kids. And one note is I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Honduras. And then after that, I did some traveling with my best friend. And what came to mind when Dorian was talking was that one Christmas vacation time, season, we were traveling in Thailand, and we were on this ferry, and there were so many ferries carrying people out to the different islands that were sinking. And I do not know how to swim. I live in Los Angeles, just a few minutes from the beach. And that is just one of my worst fears, drowning. Like, I don't know how to swim. And so my best friend was trying to prepare me. She was like, okay, well, if the ferry starts to sink, you want to take off your pants and tie them at the ankles and create like a parachute for the water. And I'm like, what the hell?
What?
Like, I did not even think, if I don't know how to swim, how am I going to remember? Take off pants, tie them at the ankles or whatever. But it was just, I just thought of that when Dorian was talking. And then as far as like talents, what would be a talent? Like, what came to mind was, I can forget all kinds of details about my personal life, like childhood and college days, but for whatever reason, I can remember the most ridiculous dialogue from a movie, and it just popped into my mind when I'm having a conversation, and I'll just want to like say like a random line for a movie that totally fits my conversation. Like, I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and we were trying to make plans for a writing project, and just out of the blue, I'm like, we'll do that, from the line in Galaxy Quest, one of my favorite movies. And she knew exactly what I was talking about because she worked on that set. So it was a fun little moment. So that's my tidbit.
Nice.
That's awesome. Okay, Aadip, you want to jump in? I can just tell.
Oh, I just have a lot of weird shit. So if we're at a party, it depends on the party, but like my two biggest things are like that I grew up a military brat. So that's not like, you can't tell from seeing me, but my parents came from India, and then they both joined the Air Force. So we moved around to a bunch of places. So that's weird. And then the other thing is, I stumbled onto a crime ring after my bike got stolen, and found all this stuff on Craigslist that this crime ring had stolen. So I went to like LAPD, and I brought them all this evidence, and they're like, wow, how did you find all this? And I said, Google. And then I had to steal my bike back from this crime ring because the police wouldn't do it. So I set up a sting and stole my bike back. So it's a crazy story, but that's like my best insane story. Like, that's how you know who I am. Military kid, wow. And then dealing with criminals. That's kind of my thing.
That's awesome.
Have you written that one yet?
I've written like the short story version of the bike thing, and I tell, that's like my one story. What's that?
Not one of those believable stories,
It's not super believable. There's so many details to it that make it even more unbelievable, but I have so many witnesses that it's true. And it's too bizarre to make up even. It's the truth is stranger than fiction thing. So yeah, those are my two.
Wow. So people don't believe you stole. People don't believe that you are like this great undercover detective, and people would never believe I was ever quiet. So Keith.
Right.
Your turn.
So I'm very talkative. You need something opposite what's been going on, and you'd be hard pressed to pull out of me the two, talents or unique things. I've got enough different hats in enough different places that I like to appear totally pure to the photography world. I'm a photographer. To communications, I'm a communications person. So it's rare to pull them all together. But I have to say, when I go to a party, you can't corner me in places like that. I will listen very quietly to all of you and think, this is great, this is great. And then I move on real quick.
Oh, before it's your turn to talk.
But I love being at a party like this. Once you get me talking, it gets harder to stop. And, where else would a party where you start talking about writers and books and food, right? And so today happens to be Giving Tuesday. And not 5 minutes before I jumped in here, there's my unselfie of the day. Why do I like my library? Because good books, good supportive people there, art and music all rolled into one. So
nice.
That's kind of cool, and here we are, we're talking about food, cookbooks, and publication in various types, whether it's the LA movies as I know them. I'm an East Coast guy. So you all on the West Coast, you're all strange. Vermont, I understand.
I'm on the East Coast too, so.
Yes. Well, we try to. Okay, next time, mental note: we need someone from the middle of the country. But I started in the Midwest, so I count. So
I lived in Texas and New York,
totally covered.
and I mean, I military brat. We lived everywhere, so I have all the regions covered at this point. So I'm like comfortable anywhere, or uncomfortable everywhere.
Well,
I visited the East Coast once during the winter, and I said I would. Like razors were going through me. It was so cold. I said I was never returning.
Yeah.
We're getting a big dump of
December.
we're getting a big dump of snow tomorrow, and we're so excited to be able to go ski on Saturday and Sunday. We've kind of skied on like wet snow, and we can't wait for more snow so we can ski. It's awesome.
Oh gosh.
So, Bridget, a very large picture I have hanging on my wall, not here in my office space, but out in the hallway, is this gorgeous picture of a pine tree covered in snow. The temperature when I took that picture was -20. Loved it. Couldn't wait to be out there. Had to keep the camera under my arm to keep it from freezing.
I was going to ask you, like, how did you get the camera?
Love it. And it's like, can't wait for more snow. Yes, we're weird on the East Coast.
I don't understand. I've heard of people like moving from here, there, and then leaving immediately.
Oh yeah.
Like people I've known personally, not just these urban myths. Keith, the other thing that you have, which you're not showing, is you also have two different views of your computer, so you can be one person or the other.
One must be ready for my Communicast, which is my broadcast of good people doing great things. And then, of course, we have the normal office. That's very important. Let's see. So StreamYard is kind of backwards from where I'm sitting. I have to do this opposite. But there's the normal office. Put the suit and tie on. Handle business that way. So yes, it's the multi-personality world that I live in. Or I can just split it like this.
And then confuse everybody, which is great. So this morning, you hosted a meetup to celebrate Start 2021 Now. So how'd that go?
It was all virtual. So we put some information out there, and meetups being what they are, you get some people, you don't get others. It's never the organization we started more than 10 years ago, Boston Internet Marketing Meetup, had 25 people to start, got up to over 1,600 members when we were active. And like so many other things, it's a great test ground these days for new tools and new technologies. But Start 2021 Now is something that I've just grabbed onto because it makes so much sense to add an extra month to a year that I want to have coming, as opposed to the one you don't want to waste time or lose time. You want to get into 2021 and zoom past, some of the things like unbelievable stories that Aadip would never make it into the movies. What happened this year? The country split 50-50 on decisions. Some people believe in COVID, some don't. The masks are real. And you just can't write a movie like that. I won't go for it.
Wow.
Yeah, this whole thing, no one would believe a pandemic like this. But
I hope somebody's recording it.
Well, I think that's what everybody is doing, is they're recording their own version. 2020. Yes. I want to jump over to Dorian. Do you have to go?
Yes, I have a meeting in a couple minutes, so I've got to go soon.
Okay, so before, and then we'll get back to what we were talking about. What was your greatest win in 2020, and what is your big fun goal for 2021?
All right, the greatest win is that I broke the 6-figure barrier for the first time.
So one of my gold stars here.
Yeah, thank you. It was big. And then my goal is, and I hired somebody finally to work with me, because I'm always the one helping other people, but I finally brought somebody on my team. And then my goal is, which I've had for several years, and I've had to put it aside due to family issues, but I really want to write a book. So I've got several in me. I know it. And so that's my goal, to get one published.
What kind of book?
Well, there's several. One of them, I love content. I love organic social media. So content ideas. I'm an idea girl. You tell me an industry and I'll come up with ideas of what to post on social media. So that would be one book. Another would be about social media strategy, thinking on how to put things together and how to make it all work. But I also have a children's book that I'm writing based on one of my 4 dogs. So I don't know. I don't know which one I'll do first.
Well, or you can do alpha and beta projects. I know you have my book. So.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes.
But that's wonderful and definitely feasible, especially since you got help. You have a little extra time that you can jump in to the awesome goals that you want to be doing. Okay, so before you jump off, what is one tip or goal you want to leave the viewers with?
Like what do you mean? What kind of tip or goal surrounding what?
Just like share a tip. If there's one thing, because one of the things that I'm doing in December, because it is New Year, New You in December and probably January as well, I'm sharing tips throughout the month from my awesome people. So as one of my awesome people, I'm asking you, what is one tip you want to share for others so they can really get the most out of this new year?
Okay, so I started, the tip is to just get started, but find a buddy. I started running 12 years ago. A friend of mine, I had small children, said, let's go run. I started out at 5:30 in the morning in the dark because I didn't want anybody to see me. I'm now a 7-8 time marathon runner. I don't know how many miles I run. I run in the morning. It makes me a better person. It makes me a better mom. It makes me better business owner when I get up early and get it done first thing. And I've stuck with it. It helped me be organized. It helped me feel better. It helps me think better when I'm tired physically. So find an exercise routine that works for you, but find a buddy to do it with, because it's really, really hard to stick with it unless you have somebody at 5 a.m. waiting at the corner, which is what I had every single day. And so find that partner and just go do it. And if you want to put order in your life, exercise is going to do it, but really, align yourself with somebody who wants to do it with you.
I love that, because the power of community, this is the power of community. Wonderful tip. You get a gold star for that too. Awesome. And thank you so much for jumping in.
Nice to meet you, everybody.
Great tip. Thank you, Dorian.
All right. Bye.
Okay, friends. Anybody else have to leave soon?
No, I'm good. I'm good for a few.
Just a few more minutes, Deborah.
Okay, so we'll jump into you, and then we'll have a little bit more conversation with the 2 gentlemen. So, Bridgitte, biggest win last year, although I think you kind of just said, and your goal for next year, which you also said, but please.
Yeah, I would say I was trying to think, like, my biggest win this year, despite everything going on. It really was the decision to move forward with this, because I had been thinking about it, researching it, considering it, for a really, really, really long time. And to finally get to the point where I said, okay, I'm going to do it. It just felt like so much was lifted off of me. To move forward with another project that's dear to your heart was very exciting. It was simultaneously mixed with excitement and nervousness. So that's how I tell when I'm going in the right direction.
Okay, wait, where's your gold star? There you go. Excellent.
And then as far as tip, honestly, I would say get very clear on your why you're doing something, because it just really matters. It really helps me to be clear on the purpose and intention behind why I'm doing something, because in my opinion, that seems to fuel all of the actions that you're going to take. And it makes it so much easier to do what you want to do. It makes it exciting when you're very clear on why you're doing something.
I could not agree with you more. And that's why, the D in the DEB method is determine your mission. You need to know what it is you have to offer the world, why you're doing it, and how it helps. And when you have that direction, it really is going to propel you forward. And when so I've been doing the goal setting for years and years, but I rebranded as Deb about 2.5 years ago, and I figured out Deb using Deb. And ever since I stepped into that whole mission to help people figure out what they want and how to get it, it's just come just clearer than it ever had before. So when you have your why, and when you're excited about your why, even more so, right?
Yes, and it really, it speaks to my interests and my curiosities and my skill sets, because even though I've been writing for over 10 years, when I look back on it, so much of my writing encompassed telling people about books. Books that have been monumental in my life, books, like I said, authors that I have met, and what I wanted to share with people that I thought might be helpful to them in whatever way, and whatever they can extract from the book. And everything that I have been working on, doing work online in the digital environment, the websites, the newsletter, maintaining my own website, doing my own stuff has really been a helpful package for me to move forward to this next step. So it's just so exciting. But I do like Dorian's advice, whether it's running, some form of exercise, to find a partner and to just know when you need to grab someone else to bring into the scenario.
Yes. Excellent. Well, wonderful. Well, I'm so thrilled you could pop on today and share your wins and goals. You're welcome to stick around. I'm going to turn back over because I feel like I interrupted Keith. But best of luck in the new year and in the actual new year. And I can't wait to see how your project blossoms.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll stick around for a few more minutes and then bow out.
Okay, so
do
Keith,
get in touch. I love books. Do get in touch.
Thank you.
And the link to her bookstore is in the chat as well. And what do you know? Your goal guide is one of her books. I know we said that.
I like your category headings. They're really fun.
Thank you.
Like was a dig deeper to be better, and what was my favorite one? There was one, tell it like it is fun. Like I love clever titles for things, so that gets me interested.
That was the whole point of Aadip.
Yeah. I'm gonna just roll through your epic sci-fi written by women section. I'm just gonna read all of those.
I love sci-fi. I love it. Love it.
Yes, and I put in the chat the link to the category that my book's in, which is What's Next? Books to reinvent.
Yeah, because the pandemic really brought that about. So that's appropriate.
Yeah.
Well, the pandemic's been an incredible catalyst for so much change. I talk regularly about the gatekeepers have fallen or they've fallen asleep, one or the other. If it's a road trip, you zoom past them. And if it's a business, the rules have changed, or they're being remade as we speak. And so whatever you can glom onto and see as a strong foundation becomes hugely powerful. So
I totally agree, Keith.
And I will check out the bookstore categories.
Thank you. Totally agree with what you just said.
It's so much fun. Okay, so Aadip, you've been quietish.
I've been listening and trying not to interrupt people.
Okay, so one of the things that we were IMing about, because you had a really good year, and you're like, yeah, but I'm humble, and it hasn't been all a good year. So tell us about what was your big challenge / win / challenging / winly year like? Yeah,
it's sort of like all the real wins I think started in 2019 and then sort of just rolled over. And so 2019, I got staff, I got in the Disney program, and I got staffed on my first show. And so I was like, that's big. And then rolling into 2020, the beginning of 2020 was rough because COVID hit pretty quickly, and I actually had COVID, but I didn't know it. And so I had it for a while, and I was like, why am I dying? I'm dying. I would turn to my wife in bed, I'd be like, I'm dying. And she's like, you're fine. And I'm like, but I actually was dying. And I didn't have to go to the hospital, but I probably should have. But it was during that period of time. And it's like what Keith said, like things are getting remade in the moment. Like you couldn't get a COVID test unless you had certain symptoms. And I didn't have those. I had all the rest that we now know are symptoms. So I was like, okay, this is just a cold, and it's, and I'm just like stressed out and tired, and it just took me down. And so that was shitty. And that was like pretty bad. I mean, don't get like, it's horrible. I've never been sicker. I've never been in more pain. I've never been more tired all at the same time. And it gives you like a foggy brain. So you can't do anything, like can't write. You can't do anything that's fun. And then like 2020, like I got an agent and I got a manager, which is cool. And what else? I got a freelance script on a show. I've never done that before. And then I got into this new program in the United States called the BAFTA Breakthrough. So it's like a mentorship program, and they identify like the next generation of talent and me also. And so they, so this is the first year they did it here, and they picked 11 people, and I was one of them. And so that's a huge win, because I've always wanted to write for television in England and like sell shows over there and just work over there. So like, this is like everything for me. So I'm excited to like pursue that for the next year. And yeah, so those are like the biggies. I mean, I had a crazy thing recently, like had a biopsy, and then it was negative, and I was like, whoo, so it's like, this has been a roller coaster of a year. Besides pandemic, like if you just take the pandemic out, it's still the craziest year ever for me.
Well, and I was putting in the chat, because I think this is so important, is we celebrate all wins. You're in my Right On Facebook group, and every Thursday is Toot Your Horn Thursday. What's your biggest win this week? Because we need to celebrate things like surviving the week, or getting a negative biopsy, or surviving COVID, or building your business, or getting this great recognition in a new path for yourself. And I know that Keith had a win because I forced him into it. I tricked him.
He did. It wasn't a trick, but thinking of what Dorian had said earlier about a book, she has a book in her. What Deb did faster than anybody else is she popped a book out of me. So I'm the show and tell guy, right? So here we go.
Wait, gold star. Okay. Oh my goodness, I haven't even seen it yet. Yeah. It's amazing.
This is a beautiful acrylic cover. It's a nice coffee table book. And it was one of half a dozen sitting in my head. And because of COVID, it got put into a buried pile. And on a totally different topic, Deb and I got started. And a week later, the entire thing, just serendipity, all came together, and out that one popped with 2 more behind it in the works now. So, yeah. And I think, you talked about wins before. The big win for me isn't the book, it's the alignment. And it's the alignment between what you think, what you do. I've always used 3 words to guide myself, something Deb and I have talked about in the past, with a hat tip to Chris Brogan, who started this years ago. And too many, New Year's resolutions fall by the wayside. And for me, it was a matter of pick 3 words, what makes a difference, what works for you. For 2020, in 2019, I said, this is easy. It's going to be community leadership and journalism. And what an incredible year it's been being part of that whole sequence of everything that's happened this year. And the leadership part is that pivot point. That's where the alignment comes in, and I think it leads to the future of what can be. So I will give you a goal tip at the same time while you've got me talking, Deb.
Oh, okay. And I'm going to pop it in the chat, so go.
All right, you ready for the goal?
I really want your tip to start 2021 now.
So my tip for starting 2021 is paying attention to flexibility and action. It's the 2 words in balance. I talked about alignment before, but what makes it successful is being able to turn quickly and then actually taking action.
Okay, pay attention to flexibility and balance. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, because I was listening and typing, and I wanted to make sure I got it right. because harmony is one of my favorite words. That's when things all come together. And said as someone who used to sing and now doesn't, you're welcome. That the whole harmony, when you're doing the thing you're supposed to do, things come just so much quicker and better. And when you try and do the things that you're not supposed to do, it's a little harder, and you need to go with that gut thing, right?
I totally agree.
Yeah, it's totally
agree.
I don't think anything happened for me in like the actual career I wanted until I decided I'm not gonna have these survival jobs that are tangential to what I want to do. I just said, like, screw that. I'm just gonna focus on writing, and then it changed everything. It was like, oh wow, why didn't I do this a long ass time ago? Because I wasted, but I had to get to a certain point in my, experience where I could get to that and learn that and apply it. So it's really important that what you do is like aligned with who you are, who you really are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alignment is such a huge portion of that. And when you're unsure, at least when your alignment starts to come together, accountability partner also makes a difference.
Yeah, that's really great. Yeah.
People who make you do the things you're supposed to do anyway, and stays in your head. And I tell people that in my community and coaching, it's like, if you ever have a problem, just listen and hear me in your head saying, you can do it, keep going, it's gonna happen. And I think that's like one of the big, I don't want to say problems with dreams and goals, but challenges, especially with the big ones, is we all want things yesterday. And sometimes things take a little or a lot longer than you would like them to.
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you know that one.
Well,
I do. And then when you're trying to force it, it just becomes exhausting.
Yeah. And it's never good. It's never the best. It's like,
It is. And when you talk about alignment and timing, and I think of all the things that had to happen for my book to come out 2 months before the pandemic is just
that's crazy.
Like ridiculous. It's like, oh, I wrote the guide to survive a pandemic, and I had no idea that it was going to happen. But you look at, the reason I had to reassess and deb myself and create the deb method and write the book and get it out to the universe, and ding, 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 every little step to lead this to a release last January, and then March happened, or the end of February, or whatever. But the reason I wrote the book was because I believe everybody should be happy in some, if not all, of their life. And this was to encourage people to change by choice. And then there was a lot of change by circumstance. And now I think we're kind of at a balance point, right? Because it's a new year rather than, and some people had a great year. Some people had a worse than terrible year. And some people kind of broke even. But no matter what kind of year you had, we need to move forward and look forward and create and see what else good we can make from this weird situation. How's that for understatements?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to codify. It's hard to like contextualize the past year. Like it strains, like we were saying, it strains believability. And so like at times, if you really think about it, it's extremely surreal. Like I'll take a moment when I'm like in the bank or I'm like at the grocery store and I'm looking around, I'm like, we're all wearing masks right now. Like how weird is that? And like our masks have now become a part of our like personal style, and it's just funny like how quickly humans can adapt.
And a year ago, you see a mask, and that was the odd person out.
Now you don't. It's
But can you account for 10 months? I mean, it's 10 months since this thing really took off. And it's what you were just saying. I'm not sure where those months went. I can account for a lot of the things I've done.
Yeah.
Only because I've either written them down or because I publish regularly. I do a monthly column, a few other things. So I have something that I can look back at and say, I've been there. I wrote an article about the one-room schoolhouse. That's what our life has turned into.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very interesting, but I can't believe that it's been 10 months of life
Yeah.
like this. So I'm ready. Let's
Yeah.
move. It's New Year's
Yeah,
Eve.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm done. Yeah. The other day I was like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
officially done with all of this.
And I thought the same thing about the masks, Aadip, when I was out with our 13-year-old. It does seem surreal that we're wearing masks. And I keep thinking two things like, gosh, like, I mean, I know a virus is not an allergen, but I just see masks and think, gosh, like we've created this world that like we have to wear something to protect ourselves. Like we have just created so much stuff in this world that seems to be like a virus and problematic. But
Yeah, that's true.
at the same time, having the mask on forces you to really see someone because you have to make eye contact.
Exactly.
You know, so I do like that. And
Mhm.
I also like to play a little game to see, like, can I tell if someone is smiling or if someone could tell that I'm smiling? They can't if I have on my sunglasses and the mask.
Right.
But, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, advantages, disadvantages, you know, the whole duality of it all,
Yeah.
good and bad, and how Deborah said it has you know, been a good situation for some people and a very difficult situation for others. So, and then the relevance of something like your goal guide or being in alignment, everything we're talking about really helps you to just determine where you're going to place your energy and your attention right now. Because if
Yeah.
it all goes on the problems, if it's constantly, you know, you're tuned into what's going on with the virus and how numbers are exploding and you can't do this and you can't do that, you can really feel a lot of despair.
Yeah.
So it is such a great moment to reassess, reimagine your life, your next actions for 2021 and what you want to create. What is your purpose? Like, who will you be? What do you want to do with these difficult circumstances? Like, how can they be a blessing in disguise if that's possible for you?
Mhm.
Oh, it's so true. There's so many pieces of it that make sense. And you talk about the mass as a pivot point. I've done a column for 2.5, almost 3 years now. It's called Front and Center. And it's just a visual shot on a corner of two streets. One is front and center. They intersect, and started as a lark. And every month I'll go out there for 1 or 2 days and just capture what's happening in life. It was
Is it
very
the same
strange.
place every time?
Same place.
Oh, okay, cool.
Same place. And so there's a whole series that I've done now, and the theme comes to me, you know, it's going out there with no sense of what it's going to be.
Right.
And life happens, and there's a title and a theme that's come to it over time. Then COVID hit. And we started wearing masks or started being afraid, and it changed everything because, as Bridget was saying, you had to see the eyes. You couldn't see the face, smile, no smile. And so it created that deeper level of looking and understanding, and it becomes richer. You know, if you allow yourself
Yes.
to be open to these things, it becomes much, much richer in those stories, the things that you're doing, what you can take away from it. There's no question it's difficult, but you can either spend your time doom scrolling and seeing the daily body count and, you know, want to blame somebody or do something, or you simply, and that's that alignment and flexibility piece that I talk about, is having the ability to recognize when you can't make a change, pivot, and take action in some other area where you can.
Yes, yes.
And it's all about what you can control, right? It's like a lot of people are spending a lot of time on things that are out of their control, that like it does lead to that despair. And I think it's really important to like find that like balance of like, I know what's going on, but I'm not doom scrolling. And like, I don't watch the news because I'll get sucked in, and I only allow myself like 5 minutes on Twitter a day to look at COVID shit, and the rest it's just like, it's just community building and talking about writing and making fun of our president. Like that's what that, you know, activity is. But like, I had to stop. I had to stop doing that, like immersing myself in the minutia of it. It just was no good.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I will just look at the headlines really quickly and just check in on social media for maybe like 10, 15 minutes and then just go on to my other activities, you know, things that I need to do to get things running. And I mean, I feel a lot better because when this all first hit, I was watching the news just to see what was going on. This was totally unprecedented.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I was like, gosh, the more I look at this stuff, I just physically feel exhausted.
Yeah.
Like I can't do anything about that. I already have enough information to know what we're going to do. I don't need to look at this 24 hours a day. And it's almost like high school drama on some level. I'm like, that may be for some people, but that is not for me. So.
Yeah, just take yourself out of the drama. And yeah, that's interesting.
The point that I hear you say is you can see it, and then you have to move on to things that you can do or want to do or have to do. And that's huge.
Yeah.
Yes. That's exactly what it is, Keith. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Aadip, we did not get your tip to start
my
2021 now. Yes, please.
I have many tips, but I think the biggest thing is like we've had these 10 months, as Keith had to point out, that we've been stuck with ourselves. We've been stuck with families. A lot of people have been alone. And I think this is maybe the time, and I think it's always the time to sort of really be yourself. Like, be yourself all the time. Like, I used to code switch so much that it became unwieldy. It's like, I'm like, who am I? I don't know. I'm code switching all the time. Now I'm just like, you know what? I don't give a shit about that. I'm just gonna be this person wherever I am. And I was like pretty secure in who I was, but I still sort of attenuated things based on situations. And I'm like, you know what? I'm too tired. I got 2 kids. I'm like, I'm just trying to get through the next day and get some writing done. So this is me. If you like it, it's cool. If you don't, then we're cool. And it's like, do your thing, do that thing and you guys both talked about. It's like, you guys all talked about, like, do that thing that you're supposed to be doing. And I think those go hand in hand. It's like, who am I and what am I here to do? And then align it. And then I think that helps everybody, because it helps everyone around you. They can feel how like attuned you are to yourself and how you're not fighting yourself. And I think that makes a huge difference in terms of like general anxiety in whatever domicile you're stuck in right now. And so I'm seeing a lot of people really like shifting into that. And it's really exciting because I'm seeing them come alive in a different way. So that's a long answer for that, but
no, it is the perfect length answer for that. And that's why and I was on a live this morning talking about this. You need the personal goals and the professional goals. It's not just one thing. Goaltopia, my word for living the life you want and achieving your goals, it's whatever you want it to be, but you have to figure out what that is, even especially since it's different now. I mean, you could still achieve Goaltopia, it's just going to look a little different.
Yeah. And it's like, it's easier in a way because you have less distractions outside, and you can be like, okay, what am I supposed to do this week? I'm supposed to write 10 jokes and I'm supposed to like email this one person, and all of that is in service to what I'm supposed to be doing. And otherwise you might be doing a whole bunch of other stuff that is a waste of time. And so, but I waste a lot of time. I'm not saying I don't waste time, but it's just better. It's better.
COVID gave us that permission to do that too. There's a point at which your brains overload deadlines, whether they're real or imagined or self-set. And then all of a sudden you go, now this is a crisis. There's quarantine. There's pandemic. Stop. I'm going to bed. I'm going to read a book. I'm going to simply not do. And you talk about being yourself, right? And that's come out. Look at how we all look on the screen, things that have changed. Look at the picture of yourself a year ago.
Right.
But everyone's like that. CEOs of corporations, you can't maintain the facade when your children are walking in the background, when your pet pops onto the camera screen.
Oh my God. Like,
and out the window goes all of that accoutrement of the, and it's gone.
It's like the illusion of control. It's like, you don't have control. My 3-year-old, like 2.5-year-old rolls in, butt ass naked, saying hi to like people in another country, or like, but nobody cares. Everyone, that's the thing. I used to think people cared, and people like it. Actually, people like seeing real life happening to the person that they're talking to. And it's like, yeah, okay, come say hi. And it's like hi and bye, all those things. And that's life. That's like the best parts of life. So I think it's important to like celebrate it. Like if any of you had an animal just like walk across your desk, we'd all be really excited, you know?
I totally agree that I just love that so much. I really like this conversation. I love the idea of being authentic. It's just so relevant right now and so necessary. And I couldn't agree more with what you said about it, Aadip, because, you know, even for me, that applies to me too. And even earlier when the meeting started, you know, you may have noticed a yellow hood walk through here. That was that was our senior. How many times did I say I was going to do a live? You know, I told everybody, and I had to mute myself because the 13-year-old is now in the kitchen preparing a full meal. Right. But, you know, at another time, I would have been really anxious and like, oh my God. But it's just because I agree with you when I'm watching videos online. I like the realness of people. And I agree, Keith, you cannot keep up this facade very long. It's exhausting. I like to see people, you know, I like seeing people just look how they look. Like maybe you couldn't get your hair done. Like maybe you don't have a lot of makeup on. Like you're really just showing up as you are. And it feels like such a nice, authentic exchange. Like when you're, because, you know, you pick up so much on the visual cues when you're looking at someone. It's not just auditory, but you can see so much. So it's nice to just, you know, have the eye contact from the mask and also to really have the unmasking of people when they're being authentic, when they're really showing up with the rawness of their lives.
Yeah, that's really, that's a good point. Yeah, the rawness, I like that. It's like unvarnished life, and it's just, here we are. I mean, because we have all had to give up so much, right? And we all know that everyone else is in the same boat. And so it's like, it's easier now to really accept other people for who they are and accept yourself, because we all know we're flawed. We all know we're going through a hard time, and we're in it together. I mean, there's a whole part of the population who doesn't respect that, but I'm talking about the people like us, you know, who have empathy and, you know, so
and
anyway.
A willingness to readjust, you know, to such difficult or different circumstances. I mean, we've all had to make adjustments, you know, and have a willingness to change.
And I have to wonder if that is where control comes back in. The one thing you can control is not caring, right? It's like, this is who I am. This is how I am. This door can open at any point in time, and I know what age could become barreling through here or not. It's part of the way things are, you know. And seeing someone else have that happen, seeing the go, okay, you know, this is real. And we control the ability, because I can't explain what a pandemic is. I can't understand how this thing operates as swiftly as it does.
Right.
But I do know, you know, I need a haircut. It's been 10 months.
Right.
This is a self-done professional job here. Don't look at the back.
Well,
business and front, party and back.
Someone said to me, "Hey, Deb, what happened to your short hair?" And I said, Where have you been?
Yeah.
But this is the longest my hair has been since I was 10.
Wow.
Because I discovered when I was a kid, short hair was easy. But I have grown to, and you know, you want to look back over COVID and see the different phases of my hair growing out. That's going to be fun. And I catalog it because I'm on lives every week. Why not? You know, it's so much more freeing and better and easier. There's too many other things to stress about. Why not just be ourselves? It's and that's what's gonna, and I'll tie it back to goals, because I kind of have to, because I am me and that is what I do. When you take the time to look inside you and figure out, okay, what is this me that we're talking about? What is going to make me happy? What can I create to bring forth now and in the future? When you take that time, it's a gift to yourself, but it's also going to be a gift to others when you birth whatever it is in your soul to the world. So there. Did you all, I don't know if Keith and Aadip shared their goals for the year. Did you?
Oh, no, I did not.
Did you think I forgot? I didn't.
I was just hoping you would forget, and I have to go. I mean, Keith, what do you got?
Sure. Well, mine's an easy one because she sprung loose the first book.
Right.
You know, I have 3 other books published, and there's been a very long gap between that and the one that came out so quickly. Because I mean, it was 2 years in development. It's not like I did it in 7 days. It simply coalesced quickly because of some self-imposed deadlines that worked, and most of it was there. It was just easy to ignore.
Yeah.
And behind it, so my goals for 2021 is to continue to publish. And I alluded to the commercializable story that I've got out there. There's a front and center piece that, you know, and unfortunately Dorian's not here with us at this point in the conversation, but she rattled off 6, 7. I've got that same list. So if I get another one done in the first month of this new year, I'm going to be very excited.
You're talking.
Continue to publish.
That's amazing. So one in December.
Yes.
Yes.
And then you'll get to the next batch.
Right.
And mine is the same. Mine is to write my next pilot by January 5th, 4th.
Don't say that in front of Deb.
No, I need her to bug me. Like, how far are you?
Well, that's it. That's our accountability buddy here.
This is my accountability trick. I have friends who we have bets. And we're like, if you don't finish this many pages by Friday, you have to write a check to Donald Trump for $500. And that's like what we do. And we're like, I got to finish. We can't collectively give him $1,000 right now. And so that will motivate you in a way that nothing else will.
When I have my live group, there was a woman, because I'm all about the reward for doing something rather than the punishment for not doing it, but whatever works. There was this woman in my live group who she hated hanging out with the moms of her kids' friends. She didn't reach her goal. She had to schedule a play date for her kid.
That's amazing.
That's different.
That is different.
But rewards are so much, and I put the link in the chat to the Write On Online group. That's where I got a different thread every day, and including Shoot Your Horn Thursday and Photo Friday. But Monday is networking goals for the week, and Tuesday is goals for the week, and Wednesday is share your stuff. So it's really all about connecting and community. And then also anybody who's reading the book, there is a Facebook group for your goal guide to help you share your journey, and I can just egg you on a little bit more or a lot more. Okay, final thoughts, because I have a feeling we can do this all day.
Yeah, we could.
And if you're watching, please share your goals in the comments or on any numerous posts on any of my Facebook. I will be sharing a tip a day for New Year, New You on the social media, which I also put that link. And the first tip is to visualize your Goaltopia. And I did a virtual scavenger hunt to find your Goaltopia when I did my half birthday party. In July is the new January. So that is in there as well if people want to go through the steps. And I mean, my biggest win, my book came out. I mean, that's quite a win for 2020. So I guess I need to.
So you're done. You're done for the year. You just coast.
Well,
I guess you have 1 month, and then you got to get back on it. Are you going to do another book in 2021?
That was the goal that I set.
Okay.
In Goal Chat on Sunday night, because I did make everybody do 20. Yes, I made people share their 2021 goals, and I do plan to write another book next year. And I do have a goal that needs to get done in December. And beyond that, it was funny. I said, okay, I'll get this done by the end of the year. And someone said, oh, you're going to write in a week? I said, no, I get it done at the end of the calendar year. The first month of December. See, I can play with the rules.
Okay. Well, you set them, so.
Exactly. So if you're watching, please share your goals and wins in the comments. And like I said, go to the Deb Method throughout the month, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn to find these motivations. You can find your goal guide at Bridgette's bookstore or any place you buy books. And please connect with me, connect with all of us. I will do a nice little fun recap post of this. So that's going to be fun to share. But please just let us, and by us, I mean us and us, help you motivate if you're watching, because we want you to succeed. There's nothing better. And this I learned when I did my old goal group, my live goal groups that set all this up back when I lived in Chicago in the 90s, is if you're around people who are achieving their goals, you want to achieve yours. It's like,
That's
okay,
right.
I can totally do that.
Yeah.
So let us be your encouragement, your tribe, and let's, celebrate everything. I did this exercise in October where I posted a win every day in October, because by October, everybody's like, oh, is this year going to be done ever? And I found, when I was looking for wins, I found a win every day. And
Every day?
And one of them was I made it through the week. A couple of them were food related.
Yeah.
And the rest were like actual real life wins. So think about what you want and how you're going to get it, but celebrate all those steps along the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want a final thought from every one of you, because you're awesome. And I honestly, can you think of a better way, not just online, to celebrate a new? I was going to say, can you think of a better way to celebrate a new year? Probably, but in this environment, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So final thought.
I would say lighten up and have fun.
Yes. Yeah.
And my tip is kindness. Kindness towards yourself. Go gentle, be easy on yourself and towards others. And this too will pass, and you get on to the next level.
Yeah. For me, I think it's like, stop expecting so much of yourself because of some arbitrary reason or like your childhood. Just do what you want to do and what you need to do, but beyond that, don't try to fill some void with like accomplishments and that kind of thing. It's just you'll never get there. And
Nice.
I think the sooner you figure it out, the better. And like, don't compare to how other people are doing and all those things. Let their successes be your success, and then motivate you. That's it. All sort of goes together for me.
I love that. This is all great. And it's all really the theme of figure out what you want, do the things that make sense, be kind, have fun, don't overburden yourself. And I'm going to add one more. Remember, you could do it. Like I am the boss of me. You are the boss of you. You get to make up your rules. So make up rules that are going to set you up for success, so you can enjoy this, make this 2021 the best year yet, because we need it.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you all so much, everybody who's watching, and thank you all for joining me. Like I said, I don't think I could have planned a better party. So be well, stay in touch, and a happy new year.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you, Deborah. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Nice meeting you guys. Yeah.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye now.